Oh, you with this Anna?
Oh, man, y'all don't even know what's about to happen in a few minutes. We here, we good.
You hear us?
Everybody all good.
It's working.
Listen, y'all better stick around to this video because look, it's it's about Anna. Yes. Yeah, I'm just going ahead and spoil everybody. It's about Anna. So make sure you stick around to this video. But thank you all so much for tuning into this happy session. This is going to be the happy session of Progressive Prime Time with me, Casa, Sue Casa, and the Convo Couch. And I'm your host, Niko House. And this is Fiorella Impasta. So, at the convention, a lot of crazy shit went down. There were people crying. There was some hugging and loving. You know, we got to see our Bernies. We got to see our Tulsa. We got to see our Kimberly Ellises. The love from everybody was dope. But some other stuff happened on the back end, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. We want to talk about that. We want to talk about some of the speculation of where people thought certain candidates were, where other candidates thought they were doing better, and they had 3 people walking behind them, and everybody kind of forgot they were running for office.
It was 4.
Cory Booker.
It was 4.
There's 4 people.
Well, one guy fell down. He got up quickly when you counted him and stuff. And like Fee was like, "Why didn't you go after him?" Like he was across the street and we didn't even know it was him. Was like, "Was that Cory Booker?" Like
everybody asked.
All right.
And the guy
and you
who fell
want to go
down,
see him? No.
The guy who fell down is still speculation, but we think he fell down on purpose, and because he never really went back after. he went to McDonald's after, so he was probably avoiding Booker. So with that being said, Pasta,
yes sir,
has some breaking news for us.
Yes sir.
He was doing some good reporting work because, you know, me and Fee, we're hotheads, so he can talk to these people about these kind of things. And he found some interesting news about Kamala Harris. What did you find, Pasta?
Well, first off, I want to also give you a good shout out that you were very pasta with your interviews. You didn't go savage, and you kept people in front of you and stuff like that. And like I said on my video, you know, Fee showed up as the live stream queen. Everywhere was streaming so many great things and that thing. We were kept on looking at it as we were at different spots. And I want to also I know I'm being a politician and digressing real quick, but I just think it was a great convention, and I thought we did an awesome job, and I'm really happy to be here. And that the fact that our audience put us there. And once again, Niko, you know what I do. I take your lead. I went in there. We were eating food in the press box. We didn't get much food. Well, we got you some veggie wraps there, girl. Don't even try like that. But what happened is, you know, you have some people around there, and you know how chummy I get, and I start talking to people, whatever. And a lot of photographers from the New York Times, Washington Post, we met there.
They always find pasta.
Yes. Well, there was a guy up in there, and this is on Sunday when we were kind of wrapping up. We had our location locked, packed up and done. We were ready to hit the road soon. It was done time. But not for us. We were hanging in that press room, and some guy comes up there, and he looked important, or he looked like a minion to an important guy, because there's a lot of minions at this freaking convention. And he was grabbing a couple sandwiches. I'm just like, "Hey, what happened?" He goes, "We just broke out of this big meeting with some of the delegates, a lot of the delegates, and our new chair, Rusty Hicks. We just were talking about a lot of stuff. We were talking shop. So what'd you guys come up with?" Well, you know, as we were talking candidates was the main thing about which candidates really shine to us. And they said 2 candidates in particular really shine. I said, "Who were the 2 candidates?" I said, "Cory Booker and Elizabeth Warren." And I said, "Well, I can understand the Elizabeth Warren stuff, because as we went through this convention, her people were on message. Obviously, you know, Fam has got an opinion, and I think it's great. You know, we were able to locate it and say, yeah, this is it, and she'll mention it. But Warren, the people were on message, and they said Cory Booker. I said Cory Booker, and they said, well, the expectations were so low that he did say that. He said, this is a guy, so the expectations were so low. But after his speech, we really nailed his speech, a platitude as you-know-what speech, the California Democrats want to take a further look into Cory Booker. I said, well, then who was the one that really bit the bullet for the weekend? Is anybody that really didn't do good? He said, oh, yeah. I said, who? They said, Kamala Harris. I said, the delegates were not impressed in California, home state, were not impressed with Kamala Harris. And we saw an article come out before that was saying that, you know, and an article after that talked about it. And I said it, like, you know, she flopped. A little or no presence is what this gentleman said. I immediately broke it on Twitter.
Even though literally they were giving out lanyards, and unless you knew where to look, the only lanyards they were giving out were Kamala lanyards.
That's it.
And but then you go talk to people, and they're like, man, you know, I can't stand Kamala Harris. I'm like, but the lanyard. That's all they had left.
So pretty much that's what they said. Kamala Harris bit the dust, and I think, really, to tell you the truth, that she's done, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I mean, I agree with that. I think she had little to no presence. And also I saw people trying to talk to her, some of my friends that have their own little show, and all her supporters kept saying, why do you support Kamala Harris? They were like, oh, because she's a woman and she's black and yay. And that's it. I never saw that many people, that much excitement for her. I completely agree that she's not a strong candidate, especially in California, which is sad because it's her own state. But about Elizabeth Warren, I think Elizabeth Warren had some sort of presence, but I did not see anywhere the presence that Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard had outside with the support, because we do have to differentiate between the delegates inside that he was talking about, and then also the people outside, the activists, the volunteers that were there for Tulsi. You did not see that on the inside for Tulsi, because Tulsi has a lot of independent, non-Democrat support. She just does. And you're not going to see those people in there. You can't really go in there unless you have a press pass, unless you're a delegate, or a floor pass, which allows you to go in there. A lot of people don't know that. So, of course, the mainstream media was in there twisting it like, oh, Tulsi didn't really get a good reception, blah, blah, blah. And that's just not the case. She had throngs of people following her.
Oh, my God.
Same with Bernie. You couldn't get through their crowds. You could not get through. And people aren't going to see that. But we have videos of that we're going to be releasing throughout the week that show exactly that. And I want to start pointing in this direction, Niko. I think Elizabeth Warren is a spoiler for Bernie Sanders. We've been seeing this trend going on, and we've been seeing them push Elizabeth Warren. The ex-Hillary supporters, as well as the faux-gressives in the Democratic Party, that are pushing Warren because she's still an establishment candidate that likes to dip into progressive issues here and there.
Yeah. No, I agree with that assessment, especially after what I saw yesterday or the entire weekend. I would say that so I actually was in the room when Kamala was speaking, like at the convention. It was about 10:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, and they had to keep shushing people because everybody else was more concerned with their conversation. In the state of California, in the Bay Area, in the city she was a DA at, they were more concerned with whatever nonsense, catching up and all that good stuff, than listening to their former DA, former attorney general from their area, from their city speak. That's not good. And the reason I say it's not good is because, hell, I don't even give a damn if it's a Vermont Democratic convention and there's a bunch of delegates from either side on. No, if Bernie Sanders is speaking in his state, even if they don't like him, everybody's shutting up when he talks. Yeah. Right. Like if Tulsi goes to Hawaii and she's at it and she walks into a room, everybody is looking at her when she walks in, and everybody is listening when she talks. This shows that she has no command really of her state, and it's also likely that we're going to see imminently a pivot by the mainstream. And I think, like Fee just pointed out, we're already seeing it happen with Warren. I don't want to give anybody any disillusion. The establishment is firmly behind her. We saw it live in action. I mean, her presence was out there. I didn't really see her much. I think I saw her once the entire time.
Who, Elizabeth Warren?
Yeah. Maybe.
Her supporters were everywhere. That's the big,
her supporters were everywhere.
Right?
Yeah. See, the thing is, so her supporters were everywhere. They were scattered, right? And a lot of the times you see scattered support at these type of conventions because, well, they might support Warren in one instance, but then they'll support like a super establishment person in another instance, and then a random progressive in a random race just because they like that person in another instance. So they're not unified by any particular ideology, just mostly about what's the most convenient, what the most convenient person to support at that time is. And a lot of times they're paid to support that person, or they're asked by their unions to come out and support that person. But with what Fee said, it was a stark contrast between Tulsi's support, Bernie's support, and even Kimberly Ellis's support. It was with their support, it was a very unified support, and both Bernie's supporters and Tulsi's supporters were following them to every caucus, to every speech. And of course, Bernie and Tulsi both interacting heavily with their supporters. And I would say this. And I didn't see when Bernie first walked into the building, right? So I can't speak for that. I don't know if we were there. But when Tulsi walked into that building, the entire building shut down, basically. All eyes were on her. All people were trying to get up to her. After she spoke, I saw people who had like Daraka shirts on or Rusty Hicks shirts on, and they were like looking because they wanted to take a picture of her because she's like 100 people like literally surrounding her, and she's just talking, giving hugs, and people were like, and there, I'm like, yo, it's okay. Y'all can go talk to her. She's not going to bite you just because you have a Rusty Hickson on. Trust me. Because she has that type of presence. And I think we probably all be in agreement. Only really her, Bernie, and Kim, too, had that type of presence. Whereas I feel like the other establishment candidates were worried that they didn't have that type of presence, and they actually isolated themselves from just casually walking around the convention and walking around in the open. They were sneaking in through the back. I saw Kamala on stage and then walking off, and that was it.
Yeah.
I saw Klobuchar. That was interesting. I got a picture with her by accident, but even her, I barely saw her at the convention, and there was no support there for her. So all these people who are supposedly doing so much better than Tulsi, that are even doing better than supposedly Yang and Gravel, like, I know for a fact that a lot of these people will support Gravel and Yang before any of these other candidates, but yet Tulsi specifically, the amount of support she had there, I was surprised at. Because this is in San Francisco. It was hard as hell to get there. It was expensive as hell to get there. There's a lot of Bernie supporters there, and the love between both the Tulsi supporters and the Bernie supporters were amazing. And you just feel that sense of camaraderie and unification that you're like, there's something going wrong. These polls are not matching what we're seeing from the people. And I think that's an important thing to talk about. And we're going to get into another video with what Fee just said about Elizabeth Warren being the spoiler. So really quick, Pasta.
Yeah, I just want to wrap up the.
What do you think? What do you think we should be looking out for? Because now we know Bernie and Tulsi did well at this convention, but what do you think we should be looking out for because of this convention?
Well, because of this convention, really, it was telling to me, and I do think the whole thing on Warren is legit. We have to really pay attention to that. And you see Tulsi, what we said when it comes to Kibble Ellis, Tulsi, and Bernie, they engaged. They walked through the crowd to get into the room to make their speeches. Warren didn't do that. Kamala didn't do that. Pete Buttigieg didn't do that. They walked around the back way where they don't have to interact with people, because that's the whole Democratic game. Get out of sight. Don't say anything. Avoid confrontation. Avoid press. Avoid independent media like the fucking plague. But coming out of this thing, two things I just want to. One thing I really want to talk about when it comes to the candidates, and I said to this, I think Warren has also set herself up to be that competition. Bernie's there. Tulsi shows me that she's going to be around for a while because she's got so many independents and Republicans that will just go and vote for her that the other candidates will not get. So she's going to hang around. But to me, and fam, like I said, you sometimes can see the future. Buttigieg. Buttigieg is going to one they're going to transcend to, because we also didn't talk about Joe Biden having zero presidents. He didn't show up.
He was too busy raising money in Ohio.
We literally all just forgot about Biden.
We
literally just forgot about him.
Bernie called him out, by the way.
Yes, and Norman Solomon. Yes, Bernie called him out, and Norman Solomon even said it when we break it down. Norman Solomon said, Joe Biden can't afford to be here. It's too much of a risk. Out of all these activists here, he can't even be seen around. They might boo him. It might ruin him. They just won't do it. So I think he's Shotsky. I think Beto O'Rourke. Me and Johnny walked in, him speaking Spanish. I think he's Shotsky. Booker
he was
hasn't done
begging
anything.
for attention.
Yeah.
He was taking any interview he could get because nobody was really interested. Like, I was walking to get food, and I saw him, and I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. I got to go get some food. I'll
Where's your security, Beto? Don't need any. Got to go. Right?
Like, we had a hard time
man.
finding
But Fam
money.
said this, and I just want to leave. I'm going to leave with this and pass it off to Fam. Buttigieg. He's the one that money will slowly go towards him because he has no record and he's living straight on platitudes. And to see the delegates and
he does have a record, but I think that
his record was removed.
His record's been removed from the conversation, but also they know his record's going to come out. And so they're waiting, and they're letting Elizabeth Warren take the heat right now, in my opinion. And then slowly, but they're still pushing Buttigieg, because don't get it twisted, people. The establishment was clapping for him
crazy,
louder than but they also
Johnny got it right.
Yeah, like it was weird because like they hadn't clapped for anybody else like that the entire time. But this is the establishment. The delegate establishment that basically you got to go through hell and high water just to even try to be a progressive
You guys
delegate.
have to understand that LA has so much corruption. LA itself, there are more progressives in Northern California.
Yeah.
And it's our part in LA, not just Southern California, but LA specifically, that has the least amount of progressive delegates. And the majority of this entire establishment are not progressive delegates. They are identity politics loving, centrist types. And of course they love Buttigieg, the gay mayor from Indiana.
And that got applause when he said that he was because he was had the right to be gay. 10 times more applause than Tulsi Gabbard saying we're going to end these regime change wars.
Yeah.
And this is what we're fucking dealing with in the Democratic Party because it will not change.
But I'll say this, and this is just like it's emblematic of every other situation when it comes to establishment politics. You being on the inside, when we talk about an echo chamber, that shit was an echo chamber.
Oh, on steroids.
Because when you were outside of those doors,
Yep.
there was no Buttigieg signs.
None.
The people who were there, like the people who traveled, spent their money to campaign, these are the people who decide the outcome of Democratic primary elections. There was no Buttigieg people there. The
None.
delegates, they love him.
Not a single Biden
And it's
one.
even funnier because, in my opinion, I think a lot of those delegates wouldn't even vote for him because they're gonna be like, "Well, I just really like his personality, and he has a lot of potential one day." But they're not gonna let him stand in the way of Kamala if they have a chance to do it, or even Biden potentially, or Elizabeth Warren. They'll vote for Warren over Buttigieg. Like at the end of the day, and so. The fact that there's such an upswell of support, just in my opinion, once again shows that he's a flavor of the month.
He's a VP guy. Like they're pushing him to be either Biden's VP or someone's VP, whoever that is going to be, and that's why they're throwing him out there like that.
And once again, Biden, we completely keep forgetting him because we
don't forget him.
He was a
Stay tuned.
a non-factor.
Non-factor. Oh my God! I didn't see a Biden pin. I didn't see a Biden shirt. I mean, I found at the last day I found a Buttigieg sign. It said "Booty egg." What did it say? Whatever. We had it, but fam, dude, I saw like two Beto shirts.
Not a single Biden.
Yeah,
I feel like they had like two people wearing Beto, like the same two people.
Yeah, the same two people that were there trying to sign people up for the mailing list.
But then I'm pretty sure like I saw those people later and they had the shirts off.
Probably
they took the shirts off.
Yeah. Well, they had a shift for Biden.
They look so bad. They look so sad.
Yeah,
all the
they
people
look
with Beto
so
shirts.
sad. Even Beto looks sad. I felt bad.
He's such a fucking tool. He's such a fucking tool. I'm glad he's done. He's gonna be done. But the whole surprising thing is, we thought Kamala was gonna have some serious presence out here. Stick a fork in her, ladies.
I thought they were going to try to push her, and they did. Yeah. They did, and it was the same thing that happened when they pushed her in the beginning. She fizzled out.
But he was harassed by a Bernie bro on stage.
Oh, yeah,
that's what you're going to hear as the fence that shook her up for the whole weekend.
Man, damn all that. You know what that guy was advocating for animal rights. He's extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
Trust me, people. They're throwing out homeless people. They're throwing out protesters. They're throwing out delegates.
Yeah. Yeah.
They throwing out anyone who's going to stamp to the establishment. They try to, even Cory Booker's comments on that situation. Oh, the Secret Service needs to be considered. For what? Kamala ain't going nowhere near the White House. Why she need Secret Service?
Yeah, no shit.
For what? What Kamala got to be scared? Because Kamala took off running when that happened. I can't lie. I would run too if I was keeping people in jail after federal judges said to release them and enslaving prison populations. Saying that you need the labor and that's why you won't release them, and you broke the record for putting black people in jail. I guess I would probably feel like
that's
someone
where the
would have
paranoia is
vendetta.
coming from.
Yeah, it's
you
that.
hit it on the nose.
It's that knowing what she is and who she is and what she's done, and worrying that the chickens are going to come home to roost one day. That will do that to you. But it's not a Secret Service situation. I don't think Kamala's not that much of a threat to anybody for them to consider doing anything that bad to her. But it is necessary, in my opinion. I hope somebody else does it. I hope people keep going on stage, taking the mic and telling the truth. So with that being said, people, stick around. You want to hear this next video. I guarantee it. We going woosah, Tulsi. Aloha, people. Aloha. With that being said, tune in for our next video. Stick around. Give us about 10 minutes, and we'll be back. But remember, more than anything else, find your balance.
Hey, Niko.
Peace. What's up?
Where can they find the recut up slips of this video? The recut ups at?
The recut. They're not gonna recut it. We're just gonna repost it.
Oh, sorry. The repost of that.
Y'all know the Convo Couch's channel.
Thank
Y'all better
you.
go. I don't even know if y'all not subscribed yet. I don't know why y'all not subscribed to their channel, but you need to be. Convo Couch, the Convo Couch. You see it up there in the corner. Go subscribe to their channel because we got a lot of clips going to be uploaded there and on this channel as well. So to catch all of the clips from the convention, make sure you subscribe to their channel. And with that being said, people, peace.